What's up, guys? It is Tuesday again, so welcome to another episode of Tag It Tuesday. Unfortunately, I'm by my lonesome this week because Brooke's sick. She's not feeling good, so you guys unfortunately get just me. And there goes about 40 viewers right there. Alright, let's hit the theme song. 40 views actually might be a little bit conservative as far as the numbers go, because I know you guys tend to like her lists a little bit more, which is why I brought it a little bit saucy for you guys with this tag, which is much more of a getting to know you type tag. It's the Prayer for the Wicked. It's supposed to be like based around the, picking movies that kind of correspond with the titles for all the songs on Panic at the Disco's new album, Prayer for the Wicked. So it's much more, like I said, of a getting to know you tag. And I realized that in the entire life of this channel, I've never really done a real getting to know you type video. So I should do a few of them, and I figured that this is a good place to start. So to all of my subscribers that have been here with me since the beginning or relatively close to the beginning, how you guys doing? You probably know quite a bit about me now, especially if you listen to the podcast. And to all of our new subscribers, hi, I'm Robbie. I'm a former film student. I've done a lot of writing. I've actually been a writer. I'm a former film student, and I actually am slowly working on a movie right now. And to everybody that's been around since October, because I've gotten a couple of questions about it recently, yes, Sandpire is a thing, and it will be a thing. Almost every single night I do some work on the screenplay for that, and it is coming along. And if I do say so myself, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to make it both scary and funny. I'm trying to go that Joss Whedon route, but I'm not Joss Whedon, I'm me. So, it's told through my own voice. But enough of the chit-chat, let's jump into the tag, Prayer for the Wicked. The first song here is Fuck a Silver Lining. This question is basically a movie. By the way, I stripped this from BookTube. Here's a little link for the booktuber named Cindy that I got the idea to do this from. Check her out, especially if you guys are readers, because she's awesome, she's snarky, she's funny. I love her. I'm not a booktuber, I'm a film tuber. We're taking stuff from BookTube and we're bringing it over. So, Fuck a Silver Lining, a movie you didn't expect to like, but ended up loving. I'm not too proud to say Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. I did not expect to like this movie. I got dragged to see it by my mom when I was like 16, 17 or something like that, and ended up absolutely loving it. Sandra Bullock crushed it. Maggie Smith crushed it. I believe Ashley Judd was in that movie too. It was great. I really liked it, and I'm sorry, but hashtag sorry not sorry. I really liked Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. So that would be my answer for that one. Number 2, Saturday Night, which is a movie that you're thankful for being over. Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Technically, I have to say that that's kinda sorta not a true answer, because I'm not actually done watching that movie. I've been in the process of watching that movie for 2 years. It sucks. Hey, Look at Me, I Made It, a movie you felt accomplished for watching. And I put down Citizen Kane. Look, yes, I am a former film student. I do have many classes about film theory, many classes where they try to teach you the ins and outs and, film appreciation, film as an art form. Look at the aesthetic way that the director framed the shot and blah, 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 blah. Yes, I do realize that Citizen Kane broke all the rules and reinvented them as it went. Yes, I do recognize the cultural significance and impact of that movie. Yes, I do realize that that movie is a classic and is now and will forever be on the top 5 must-watch movies before you die lists of anyone who has a film degree ever. I felt accomplished for watching it because it made me feel smart and a part of the film culture. In reality, this movie is boring as sin, and as much as I acknowledge and appreciate everything that it has done for the art form of film, and how many movies we would not have if not for Citizen Kane. That does not mean that I have to like it. I felt accomplished for watching it because I felt like I got through it. I can put that notch on my belt and I can move on and continue living my life. And that is still how I feel. Important movie, sure, but I did not enjoy it, and I felt a great sense of accomplishment for actually finishing it. High hopes. Let's see, a movie that I had high hopes for, but it fell flat. I'm gonna say The Box. That movie looked cool. The trailers looked cool. While I was watching that movie, there was so much cool that could have happened. There were like 20 plots that were in this movie, and it could have gone in any direction. I'm like, oh, wow, go down that way, it could be cool. Go down that way, it could be cool. And it just... bleh. It sucked. It picked the weakest and stupidest of the 20 plot lines and explored it and then doubled down on it, and it was just really, really bad. I try to watch movies without really watching reviews or diving too deep into reviews because I don't want my opinion colored. I am the type where I more prefer seeing a movie blind or seeing a movie with people saying, you know, oh, it's not bad, or oh, it's good, than having that preconceived notion in my head, because I tend to disagree with a lot of critics, and I tend to disagree with, you know, a fair amount of people as to what movies are good and what movies are bad, as you may see with the rest of this list. The Box, I think that it didn't get enough fire and vitriol. I had really high hopes for that movie, and it fell so flat that it was basically roadkill. Roaring Twenties, a movie that makes me feel nostalgic. Look, there are so many movies that I could put down here. As a matter of fact, I wrote down on this list any of the Freddy movies, but specifically, I'm gonna say Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. First off, hi, I'm Robbie, and I love horror movies. I am a huge horror movie junkie, a connoisseur, if you will. But I also like those, as much as I like the intelligent, thought-provoking, and genuinely frightening horror movies, I also like the splatter movies, you know? There's something about Freddy and the delight and pleasure that he takes in going after his victims. It's a man who enjoys what he does. You know, he enjoys his work, and he goes home with a smile on his face, whistling a jaunty tune, if you will. And Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare stands out to me because every time I think about this movie and every time I watch this movie, I'm transported right back to when I was 13 years old. I got this VHS for my birthday. My birthday's in September, so the school year had just started. I swear to God, I can taste my birthday cake that year. I can remember what my mom put on the cake. I remember that I got this VHS and Metal Gear Solid and Resident Evil 3, both of them for the PlayStation 1. I remember coming home and popping it into the VHS like every day for a week. And as the sun was going down, and I'm remembering that opening song by the Goo Goo Dolls. And it just takes me back to a simpler time in my life, you know, when I was 13, 14, when, you know, everything was the worst thing ever and everything was, you know, earth-shattering and apocalyptic, when in actuality, dude, if you're 13, 14, you ain't got nothing to worry about, man. Life is easy, you know. As you get older, you need to invest in helmets because, you know, life is freaking hard. But that is what I'm gonna pick. Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. Next song, Dancing Is Not a Crime. A movie that I felt bad for loving or a movie that I felt bad for hating. I actually gave you both. The way this is specifically worded for the tag is a movie that BookTube, or in this case FilmTube, made you feel bad for loving or hating. I don't bend to the will of anybody else. I don't feel bad for liking the things that I like, and I certainly don't feel bad for disliking the things that I dislike, because my opinion is not the only opinion out there, and just because you like something does not mean that I have to, and vice versa. A good example of this, I absolutely positively love Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I think that movie is genius and brilliant in about 1,000 different ways. I think that Rian Johnson was brilliant in a lot of his choices, and it took me a few viewings to really get down how much I cared for it. I loved it from the first time I saw it, and every time I watch it, I like and appreciate it a little bit more and find something else to appreciate about that film a little bit more. but I also realize how divisive not only that film, but that opinion is. And I also realize that just bringing up the fact that, hey, I'm loud and I'm proud and I like The Last Jedi, that is enough to make a lot of people click off the video. So, sorry, but not sorry. I loved it. And if you didn't, that's fine too. Just be cool to the people that do. And a movie that I hated that a lot of other people like, again, sorry not sorry, but Napoleon Dynamite. I really don't like that movie. I recognize how quotable and clichéable that is, but I'm not a fan. I'm not. One of the Drunks, a movie that left me with a hangover. I would say The Fellowship of the Ring. When I think of a movie or a show or a game or something like that that leaves me with a hangover, it's something that makes me keep on like cycling around in my head, you know, like you get that woozy feeling. And Fellowship of the Ring did that for me. I felt the need to start researching all the different lore about the Lord of the Rings movies. I read the trilogy, didn't exactly love the writing style of the trilogy, but whatever. Reread The Hobbit, watched the old cartoon of The Hobbit, you know, looked stuff up online in the primitive age of dial-up internet. So that's what I would choose. There's probably other answers, especially if you want to bring in TV into it, like, you know, if it was a TV show that I was answering this for, like Buffy or Game of Thrones, like every season of Game of Thrones leaves me with a hangover, or, you know, Buffy, Angel, anything by Joss Whedon always leaves me with a hangover, but that would be my answer for film. Fellowship of the Ring. The Overpass, a movie that deals with a heavy subject matter. Lots of movies that I love deal with heavy subject matter, if not right out there on Front Street in the actual plot. If not that, then, you know, dealing with it as far as the subtext or the allegories. You know, I mean, what does one base the response on? Do I choose Dogma, a movie that actually made me question and then reaffirmed my faith? Do I pick another Kevin Smith movie, Chasing Amy, a movie that actually made me explore the inner workings of my own jealous teenage boy mind? No, I'll give it to you on face value. I'm gonna choose Schindler's List, and if you haven't seen that, that's a movie that you should see. King of the Clouds, a movie that lifts you up when you're feeling down. I'm gonna say Hot Fuzz. Yeah, Hot Fuzz. I think Edgar Wright's film style in general, but specifically in this movie, was so on point. There's so much satire, there's so much witty dialogue, there's so many amazing cameos that you may not even realize you're watching. Hot Fuzz just has it for me. From top to bottom, beginning to end. There's not a bad minute in this movie to me. And every time I'm feeling sad, if I pop on Hot Fuzz, I don't know, I feel better. I really do. Favorite film before 2000? That is from the song Old Fashioned. I don't know. Jurassic Park? And the final song, Dying in LA, a movie that you love that is underhyped. There are a lot of movies that I really love that are underhyped. Considering I already shouted him out with a couple of picks that could have been but ended up not being there, I'm gonna give this one to Yoga Hosers, another Kevin Smith movie. The first one that I'm gonna actually answer the question with that film. I'm gonna say Yoga Hosers. That is a movie that I absolutely love that was very, very, very much underhyped. If you want to know what that movie is, it's basically Clueless meets Ghoulies, or Clueless meets Gremlins. It's about a couple of teenage girls that work in a convenience store that are faced with the daunting responsibility to stop a swarm of foot-tall Nazis made out of bratwurst. And they all fall into this giant mech called a goalie golem. And yes, by the way, it is Canadian, hence Hosers and goalie golem. I loved this movie. I thought it was idiotic and ridiculous and moronic, and all of those things just absolutely worked for it. I thought it was so funny. I appreciate this movie so much. It was clever and quippy, and Johnny Depp has a giant nose that is shaped like a penis, and it was just so great. And if I'm describing this movie and you're like, wow, this sounds so stupid, doesn't it though? Doesn't it though? It really is so stupid, but it's good, man. At least in my opinion, it's good. It's Nothing deep, it's nothing significant or culturally important, but it's just a movie that you pop on that you're like, oh my god, do you remember when we watched that movie? And your buddy's like, yeah, I remember. And you're like, that was a good time, let's watch it again. And you can watch it, it's on Netflix right now too, so. I don't know about a lot of the rest of these. I know The Last Jedi at least was, but I know Yoga Hosers is because I watched it recently. So that is going to be my answers for the Pray for the Wicked tag. Again, based on the album from Panic at the Disco. So what about you guys? I would love to see some of you guys' answers to this. Let me know in the comments down below what some of your answers are. And if you want to get tagged in some of these, I'd be happy to tag you guys up, man. Any film tubers or any movie tubers or any, gamer tubers. Like Retro Stitch Gaming actually took one of our tags. I'm gonna link them right up top here too. I want this whole idea of Tag It Tuesdays to go wide, man, because there's so much fun. There's so much fun finding these tags or coming up with these games for you guys and presenting them here on YouTube every single week. I have so much fun with this, and I really hope you enjoy watching them. So let us know down in the comments below what some of your answers are, or if you want to be tagged, or, even if you just enjoyed this movie, or you want to call me a piece of shit for liking The Last Jedi, whatever. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and especially hit the subscribe button down there. I think it's down there, because that helps out the channel more than you can ever imagine. The unknowable eldritch horror called the YouTube algorithm has forced so many channels that were like 1,000 times bigger than mine into general obscurity. And every time you like and subscribe on this channel, it helps us out and helps the algorithm find us and bring us out to more viewers, more people to join the pop cult, if you will. So if you could do that, I would be forever thankful. And until next week, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.